Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you had a great Thursday. Um, I am back well, actually, I was going to be with you this morning. Had a little bit of some physical issues to take care of, and I'm here this afternoon. Not sure if you are aware. Thank God it's Friday indeed, and we are 2 days away from the the anniversary of Micah's passing. On this Friday afternoon, I'm going to go over a new article that Fitz News had put out regarding Chris Skinner. I'm also going to share with you, real time, we're going to share it together, the incident report of that day, because I do have it. And I would like to go over it a little bit, but we'll go over it together and see if there's any anomaly in there, anything that we find interesting. And I also do have, even though I left it in the chat for you on the last show, I do have the Forbes article because if anybody clicked that article, you may find you had to subscribe. I thought that it was ridiculous for any of you having to subscribe, so I did it for you. So I have it. So first and foremost, let's go over the Fitz News article. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it up here with all of you right now, and I will have a link to that if you want to read it. But we're going to read it together. And so they titled it Chris Skinner's Death, Despair-Induced Suicide or Sinister Submersion. I find that very interesting, that title, because this is what we've been covering all along. Now, it's quite a long, what I could do is play the video for you if you'd like, and we can have them talk about it, and then we can go over it afterwards. So let me know if you'd like that, or what I could do is go through bullet points of things that are in the article. So would you like to see the video, or would you like for me to go through the bullet points? Totally up to you. I will leave it up to you guys. And I'll wait for somebody to give me an answer, or some of you to give me an answer in the chat if you'd like to see the Fitz News video of them describing pretty much what's going to be in the article, and then we'll go over what they're going to discuss. So I don't imagine it being very long. Yes, video. Okay, and then follow up. All right. So let me start that for you. Let me know if you can hear it, guys. No sound. I don't think there is sound yet. Okay. I think what they're doing is they're just playing the video. Okay. So forgive me, guys. Like I said, we're going over this in real time. Okay. So let me go over. Yeah, it's been a year already. I know. It's insane. So, there seems to have been some sort of a lawsuit that was going on a few years prior to Chris's passing between Chris and Susie and the Homeowners Association. And it was regarding accessibility for Chris to the pool. It sounds like it was the surrounding areas and the pool itself. So let me just read some of that to you. Now, it's a very long video, a very long article. I'm going to put it, like I said, in the chat. And even in this article, you will find a link to the police incident report and some other juicy tidbits. So thank you, Fitz News, for all the hard work that you did in putting this together. Now, a newly uncovered civil rights complaint filed in 2017 by Chris and Susie Skinner a couple from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, is raising new questions about Chris Skinner's unsettling death 4 years later. This narrative-altering document detailed a personal struggle tied directly to the pool where Chris Skinner would later lose his life, which is very ironic. Or, according to some, take his own life. One of several suspicious deaths tied to the ongoing saga of embattled Palmetto State pastor John Paul Miller. The complaint reframed the location in question, the Emmons Preserve Pool, as a space at the center of an ongoing dispute between the Skinners and their homeowners association, a location where Chris, who was paralyzed, was repeatedly denied access despite requesting reasonable accommodations that would have allowed him to safely enjoy this neighborhood amenity. A suicide in this place would contradict the core values Chris Skinner consistently embodied: faith, perseverance, and triumph over tragedy. So now they talk about his accident and his mantra, which, resonates with his speeches and his writing, his daily interactions, which was every day is a gift, and I choose to use mine to uplift others, Chris said. Now, this is the ADA complaint. In 2017, the Skinners filed a formal complaint with the South Carolina Human Affairs Commission and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, after their Myrtle Beach Homeowners Association repeatedly denied Chris equal access to the pool. The complaint named the Waccamaw Management Company, the Residents Club Owners Association of Hilton Head, and the Residents Club Owners Association of Myrtle Beach as defendants. The Skinners were dues-paying members of the club, and part of that membership entitled them to the use of the pool. However, in order to safely enjoy it, Chris needed assistance. The Skinners repeatedly approached the HOA board with proposed solutions, but were refused. The board denied him the right to access the pool safely with the use of his own personal assistance device, the complaint noted. The board also unanimously denied a request for an individual to bring a personal pool lift to the pool for use. The Skinners requested the HOA install a permanent pool lift, and that request was tabled until the following year. The HOA newsletter explained that the board did not want to provide the lift for one person, but would revisit the matter when more than one person could benefit from it. The pool lift would become more of an issue as the entire community ages, it noted, offering no alternative solution. The respondent is refusing to address his needs only. Therefore, he has to wait until more people need the same accommodation, according to the conciliation agreement. The complainant is being subjected to disparate terms and conditions. He is being denied the access and privilege that non-disabled club members are afforded in order to safely enter and exit the common pool area. The Skinners' complaint alleged that such a denial amounted to discrimination. The parties entered into an agreement to settle the matter, and the HOA later agreed to install a pool lift. Whether that lift was ever properly maintained or usable by Chris Skinner remains unclear. Fitz News did request the case filed, but were denied because it no longer exists. All documents were destroyed after 2 years, according to the Commission's document destruction schedule. Isn't that convenient? Okay. Now, let's see here. Going on, they talk about him being a motivational speaker, nationally recognized, that he was a co-founder of the Adaptive Surf Project, a nonprofit bringing the thrill of the ocean to others living with paralysis. Now they go into the chair. Years later, Chris Skinner would be found submerged in the very pool that was the focus of his discrimination complaint. Now, this I have a little bit of issue with, guys, so bear with me. Still alive, but unresponsive, he was pulled from the water approximately an hour after his track fab all-terrain wheelchair was driven into the pool, according to reports from first responders. Stop. How is it, unless he was a fish, could he still be alive in that water for 1 hour? I do not see that as being a possibility. Now, were they able to revive him? That's a possibility. But I don't see him being alive after 1 hour, even as a diver. And divers can hold their breath for a long period of time. But 1 hour? Okay. So they described the video. The victim stops at a curve in the pool and then suddenly moves quickly forward and goes into the water, a police report. And it says PDF. Now, if you click on that PDF link, the link is highlighted. That's where you will get the police report. Moving on. The victim is seen lifting his head up above water a few times before the camera cuts to a different time. Now, we don't get to see that. None of us see that. So I'm not sure where Fitz News is seeing this lifting his head above the water. Now, if someone has that video out there, I think it would be, at this point, at least allow us to see that. Because that gives away his facial expressions. Was he crying out at the time of him going into the water? This is going to kind of confirm, one way or another what's going on with Chris at the pool. Moving on, no one else was in the pool area at the time of the incident, the report continued. Chris Skinner died shortly after he was transported to the hospital, but a 911 call from one of the women who discovered his body left little doubt as to his condition prior to the arrival of the paramedics. So once again, now I do have it available. It's here in the article. Let me just show that to you as I'm sitting here explaining all of this. So here's the formal complaint. So if you click on, see what I'm talking about here. If you click on this, you'll be able to get a copy of it. And just like the PDF, here's that PDF. Here's also the chair where they mentioned the track fab all-terrain. I haven't looked into that yet, but there's more. There's more. Now here's the 911 call. Okay, Robbie Harvey said it too. How did he see it? Did he see a video without the box? Because unless you haven't, seen the video without the box, how did you come to that conclusion? Unless that's what's in the police report. So I don't know. Do you guys want to hear the 911 call? It's totally up to you. I can play it. Or do you just want to move on? He said it on a couple of his. Well, okay. I'm not sure how he got that without the black box, but I'll believe it when I see it. Does anybody want to hear the 911 call, or shall we move on? Just let me know. Okay, I guess we'll move on because nobody's giving me an answer. So now here, again, they have links here. So if you click on the links, things will come up. Now let me see. Now they talk about here the all-terrain wheelchair gift made possible by donors who were rallied to his cause by ESPN Marty Smith. It was a 485-pound machine. Now, let me just stop there for 1 second. The fact that this thing was 485 pounds means that it was sitting up in the water. That motor is at the bottom of the chair. So if it's that heavy, he's sitting up. So it makes sense that his head is that he's trying to get air and he's moving his head up. That's not the signs of a man who wants to pass away. Now they have, if you look here at the side, they give you, the weight, the overall width, length, height, all the information about, turning radius 0 degree, user weight limit 350 pounds. So we have all of that there. Okay. So this talks about the chair. Now we go into a crumbling marriage, a question of motive. Now it gets interesting. In the months leading up to his death, Chris Skinner withdrew from the church where he had once been an active member. The reason? According to sources, his wife was having an affair with the pastor John Paul Miller. According to an affidavit, affidavit. Now, see, there it is again. So if you click on that, I'm sure that the affidavit for Allison Williams will come up. From Miller's ex-wife, Allison Williams, Chris confronted John Paul 2 weeks before his death, telling him explicitly to stay away from his wife and children. In the months leading up to the tragedy, Susie's behavior toward her husband was also changing, according to Chris Skinner's friends and family members. She was responsible for his care, yet she reportedly stopped bathing him regularly, diverging from a schedule the couple had followed for 4 years. While infrequent bathing might seem trivial at first glance, it carried with it serious consequences for Chris, who faced ongoing medical complications tied to his long-term paralysis. According to his longtime friend Marty Smith, Chris suffered from recurring pressure sores, which is obvious, serious skin wounds, which are common among individuals with limited mobility. At times, these became life-threatening, requiring intensive wound care and vigilant hygiene to manage. Bathing was not just a part of cosmetic routine, it was medically necessary. So see, those wounds can get easily infected. I've had patients like that. And it turns into extensive wound care. Okay, so in 2025, during a magistrate court hearing in which Miller was seeking to silence critics and protesters by requesting restraining orders and damages, Susie Skinner took the stand. Under oath, Miller asked her, "Are you my girlfriend?" "Yes," she replied. This confirmation came less than a year after the suspicious death of Miller's own wife, Micah Frances Miller, which was exclusively reported by Fitz News. Not true. We all reported it. But here we go, right here. Okay, so if you want to see Fitz News's reports amongst many. Of interest, dashcam video obtained by this media outlet showed both John Paul Miller and Micah Miller arriving at the pool less than an hour after emergency responders descended upon the scene. After parking in the roadway, the couple are seen on foot approaching the gate to the facility, which was cordoned off by police tape, and briefly speaking with responding officers prior to departing moments later. This is where we see Susie going, "Hey," to everybody at the pool. Now, there's some parts in here that I really, really want to go over. So here we go, exploring the manner of death. Pardon me, guys. With recent developments indicating authorities are re-examining Chris Skinner's manner of death. Once again, we see this highlighted. Now, I'm doing this in real time, so I haven't looked into any of this, which was initially determined to have been accidental. Alternative options must be explored. Could his death have been a suicide, or was there a more sinister cause to his chair entering the pool? Many have speculated that Chris, devastated by his wife's affair and reportedly neglected in his care, drove himself into the pool and ended his own life. Such an act, however, would seem to stand in stark contrast to Chris' core identity and life's work. After the accident that paralyzed him, Chris rebuilt his life on the values of resilience, motivation, and spiritual perseverance. He was a man who spoke to thousands about finding purpose through pain, and who co-founded a nonprofit dedicated to empowering others with disabilities to experience the joy and freedom of surfing. To die in a pool he once fought to make accessible using the very wheelchair gifted to him by strangers who believed in his life's meaning and purpose would seem to be a contradiction of all he held to be true. Suicide by this method in this place not only seems out of character, it would potentially undermine the legacy Skinner had been building for 20 years. Chris was a nationally known speaker, author, and Christian. His identity was built around overcoming adversity. He had no known history of suicidal ideation. Chris Skinner died on September 6, 2021. Okay. Micah Frances Miller died on April 27, 2024. Both deaths are surrounded by a lingering dark cloud of suspicion laden with unanswered questions and unresolved speculation. It is chilling to know that the spouses of both Susie and JP are now dead from tragic events, said Allison Williams, ex-wife of John Paul Miller and the mother of 4 of his children in May of 2024 affidavit. The water may have stilled, but it certainly seems as though truth has yet to surface. Okay, that's, I guess, is a reporter. Let's see, this is talking about the reporter, and I don't think we go on any further. Okay. This is somebody commenting, could his death have been a suicide? It's clear that he sat contemplating prior to his, no, I don't think he was contemplating at all. Now, let me shut this down and reopen. I said I was going to get you that article, right? So let me get that article for you. All right. So this is called, "This Guy Let Me Control His Hacked Wheelchair with an Xbox Gamepad." This is dated August 6th, 2016. Okay. And this was, this is it's Forbes, but it's in the cybersecurity innovation area of the magazine. Now, I want to get it to the point where I could read the whole thing to you if you like. Did you read it, just Robin? Did you read the whole article, or are you talking about Fitz News' article? Because they're both really good articles. Yeah, I think Fitz News did a great article. I think that they definitely shed light on the possibility. Fitz News, yes, they did a very good job. I agree. And there's one or two things that I don't really fully agree with. They did not exclusively report on it. It was pretty much the local news of Lumber River State Park that started it. And then, of course, there were many in the Myrtle Beach area that also began reporting on it. And then there's JLR. And I'm sorry, but JLR really, if you want to be exclusive, that's really the one who started reporting on it at first. Anyhow, after another panicked 10 seconds, during which an $8,000 power chair would twitch into action and then stop, we noticed a man hiding in a corner, his face lit by a laptop, and if you looked at him at the right angle, his thumb was fiddling with the Xbox 360 controller concealed behind his back. Chavez had just played a trick on us. The man, his co-troublemaker, who goes by the name Spectre, was secretly hacking the chair with Chavez's permission. Chavez simply laughed. He would later tell me, "I'm glad I made you shit your pants." That's basically what he's saying. I convinced Spectre to let me play with the thing. We went backstage to a less cluttered area as Spectre was anxious about me controlling the device using the attack code. He feared that if something went wrong and we hurt either Chavez or an unfortunate passerby, there would be some awkward liability issues. Ignoring the temptation to cause chaos, I submitted. But if you think I'd have any compunction about controlling a hacked wheelchair with a guy sitting in it, you'd be wrong. There I was happily twiddling the joystick of my Xbox pad, spinning the 23-year-old Chavez around, sending him along the corridor and reversing him toward the walls. I chose not to cause any collisions, only out of fear of giving Spectre a heart attack. I was able to mess with Chavez because the security on the wheelchair sucked. That's according to Chavez, a computer science student at Metropolitan State University of Denver. Chavez hacked his own wheelchair by hooking up a Raspberry Pi 3 and a Pican 2 CAN bus board, I think that's a motherboard, that allowed him to communicate with the chair's onboard network. They also allowed him and Spectre to funnel exploits from a remote PC or phone to connect the chair and start controlling it. Chavez and the Spectre then ported the controls to an Xbox pad. An evil hacker, now listen to this, an evil hacker would, of course, have to quickly hook up the hardware, which also includes a 4-port device for connecting everything. But Chavez thinks that possible in seconds without the person sitting in the chair noticing. and all the required equipment can be bought for less than $100. The software tools are free, but the coding skills required take years of investment. Remember that. So the hardware and the investment in it is very minimal. It's the ability to understand the coding. And if you are a high-tech, you understand high-tech, you understand coding, you can do this. Okay, nerds know how to do this kind of stuff. My brother-in-law could do this within a minute, and he does coding for KLM. Okay, so the security weaknesses reside in the chair's PG Drives technology motor controllers, manufactured by British company Curtiss-Wright Industrial Group. In particular, issues lay in the way commands were sent to the controls. By looking at every message sent across the control area network, the CAN, of the chair to determine what action they caused, the researchers learned what messages led to certain actions. It was then possible to create exploits, injecting commands to take control of the chair. To hack the joystick, the researchers found that if they could force a system error, the chair would shut down the stick, presumably as a protection mechanism. But they found the network continued listening for messages, would accept their commands, and allowed them to move the chair around. Chavez, who presented his findings alongside Spectre at the DEF CON Internet of Things Village this morning, believes the same security issues reside in any chair using RNet protocol, a previously unstudied service until now that sits on top of the CAN to connect devices such as the joystick and lights. It boils down to no security, he said. And then this is the video. Now, modding wheelchairs. Hacking is most of the time a good thing. And Chavez didn't start probing the network of his chair to find security weaknesses. He set out to modify his chair so he could have it follow a person, not for any stalkerish purposes, but so he could talk through typing on his computer screen and continue to move. Chavez has a condition called schizencephaly, a rare brain condition that has made it almost impossible for Chavez to speak or walk. Given the limitations imposed by schizencephaly, it's obvious why he'd want to expand the predefined uses of technology to make his life easier. He also wanted to add some uber cool LED lights to his chair. I found people online who wanted more control, Chavez told me. This research is cool for people who want to mod. Chavez's hacking should go some way to convincing wheelchair manufacturers to improve their security designs, but also to inspire anyone else who wants to tinker with their chair to make practical or just plain sexy mods to their chairs. Double win. So there you go. Modifications. Now, I haven't really totally looked into Chris's chair. I will leave this. I can leave this article for you guys, but again, it requires for you to, what I could do is I could make a video, screenshot the entire article, put some music with it. That way you've got the text if you want to read it and go over it. I'll also put the article to the Fitz News, the link rather to the Fitz article, Fitz News article. Forgive me, guys. It's been a rough morning. So what does this mean? For a year, we've been dealing with a guy who in his inner circle, people have said that he understands AI. He's been able to override Micah's identity on her phones, in her emails. He's been able to hack her passwords. Okay? With all of that, now once again, I'm going to point out that video. And if you want, I can play it again here. It's always good to just repeat stuff. Why not? Let me see if I can find it. I have it under I actually made a file for Chris. Let me get, I'm going to put up here the one from, I forgot their name. Daily Mail. We just got to wait till it gets to the zooming part, because really that's the best time. When you see it go backwards, it's only the left wheel. It's only the left wheel. Okay? Now let me hold on. It just did it. You really got to pay attention. I'll try to grab it when it starts to go. Forward. Left wheel going back. Did you guys see it? Let me see here. Get out of the way. Oh, I'm sorry. I have a degree in computer programming. I had to take a course to learn control language, code to start and stop processes in a program. Indeed. JP is a big time control freak. I wouldn't put anything past him. He also has a seared conscience. Well, okay, remember what the guy said. Here. Hacking is most of the time a good thing. He didn't start probing the network of his chair until he could find security weaknesses. He set out to modify his chair so he could have it follow a person. He said it was fairly easy. I mean, he didn't, if you knew what you were doing, it took very little in investment monetarily. It was the knowledge that you needed to have. He also talked about it going forward. He talked about it going backward. They were able to control it in every way. If somebody's got the video out there at this point, since the video is out there, and you've got it without the black box, at this point, you should just show it. Why? Because that's going to show what Chris's expression was. Was this a man who was in distress and going, what the hell is going on? Or was this a man determined to do what they're claiming he was doing? Now let me try this again. Okay, so, no, let's go back. Okay, forward. Then the left wheel starts to go back just a little and then goes forward. That to me is the clue from remote control. I'm sorry. That to me is absolute proof of remote control. Okay. They got cornered to say Chris's death was accidental. It is self-unaliving. Wifey collected life insurance fraudulently. Reopen this will bring great clarity to insurance as well as law enforcement. If it is a self-unaliving, right. Well, either way, right, she would have to give back the money. I'm assuming that's how that would happen. Or if it's a homicide, that's going to be a problem for a lot of people. You'd think. I'd like to see his face. Yeah, just Robin. I see at this point, seeing his face will answer the question. Because it doesn't make sense why he would have his dog with him. It doesn't make sense why he would make plans with his family that day for a barbecue and all that. It doesn't make sense, as Fitz News puts it, that his mantra was to persevere through the pain. He had that kind of mindset. He had a family that loved him and that he was close to. He had the money to hire a nurse if he had to and go past Susie. You know what I mean? If Chris would have divorced her and left, he would have taken the money. So how does Susie end up with the funds? Having to get Chris out of the way. Now, am I accusing Chrissy? Excuse me. Am I accusing Susie of doing this? I don't think she's got the ability. But there are some people who do have the ability to obviously hack the wheelchair and remote control it. Now, I've said this before, I'll say it again because a lot of people have been coming at me. About the back gate. They're from the neighborhood. And they said the back gate was broken. I don't know if that means anything. Maybe somebody snuck into the back gate. I don't know. But I have a feeling there's a reason why this is all coming forward now. God is exposing a lot of things in the recent days. And it must be a reason. He's getting ready to strike. And so he's making it very clear to all of us on why. Now, I don't know if you guys had noticed, yesterday I had put out a video that had text to it, and then it had the song House of the Rising Sun. If any of you saw that, let me know. Put a 1 in the chat. What I'd like to do is I'd like to play it, and I'd like to go over the words in it. Now, let me explain something about it, if I may. A few months ago in my chat, someone had one. Okay, so we're going to play it. All right. Give me ones, guys. We only got one from Cindy. Okay. All right, here we go. So a few months ago, somebody in my chat, it was after a show, had left this. It was like a massive, like a book. And it was almost like a, I don't know the words of how to explain it. He was ranting, okay, and very pissed off. And he was saying things along the lines of, Micah was murdered, and I know the truth, and this is a pyramid scheme, and you don't know what this place is like, and they're all so evil here, and I could tell you things that would curl your hair. I mean, just this guy went on and on and on. And there was more to it, and I don't remember it. I thought I saved it somewhere, and I might. And if I find it, I'll put down what he wrote. I'm going to keep his name out of it for his protection, okay? But what I did when I read that was I clicked on his profile, naturally, on YouTube, and I found him. And there was one video, okay? And so it was about maybe a week or two old. It was a very new video, and it was of him playing guitar. Now, he's not from South Carolina. He's from up north, moved into the area. And in the video, he's saying that he worked for the county or the city or something like that. And he was approached by somebody and said, you're going to go to this, or if you're a Christian, you're going to this church. Not asked, he was demanded, you're going to this church. And he was told, you have to pay a $3,000 fee to get in. So he paid the fees. Now, I've been talking to somebody that's inside this church. They used to go a couple years ago. They knew Micah. And so I asked this person, is this true? Were there fees that need? I'm not talking about tithe and offering. I'm talking about fees. And they said, yes, there were fees that you had to pay to go to the church. Okay. So she, that's actually, it's a he who played this. So his story was backed up. Then I showed his video. I said, if I show you this guy, could you tell me if you've ever seen him before? And she goes, yeah, he used to go to Soiled Mock. Now, I don't think he's in South Carolina anymore, but in this video, he was very angry. So he plays House of the Rising Sun as a parody, but he makes his own words, and that's the text I put up. We're going to go over it in a second. And it's chilling. What we know now, a year in, it's chilling, okay? And so I'm going to get that for you now. Let's see. The YouTubes. Okay. Good for me. I've got my channel. I need shorts. No, not somebody else's shorts. I need my own. Sheesh. Oh, here we go. All right. So Simon Says added. Okay. Well, of course I can't see it. All right, guys, let me actually get it on my phone and I'll read it to you directly on what it says. Sorry, guys. Okay. Oh, Lord, please, Lord. Let me lower that then. So there is a house that's a pyramid scheme, and it's run by Judas Priest. It's been the ruin of plenty of county employees, and God knows I am one. The mother, she was a victim of grooming. The father, he was a religious man, started the grooming at the age of 13. The only thing that a narcissist needs is an open blank checkbook. The only time he's satisfied is when he is effed up. Alex Murdaugh, he wiped out his entire family, started with his wife first. That one could have been prevented on day one if it wasn't for crooked politicians. Now here we go with Micah. There's one foot on the boat dock and the other one is driving around. Going back to the boat dock to where that purse was found. Of course, there is a house in Myrtle Beach, the home of the pyramid scheme. It's been the ruin of plenty of families, and God knows that she is one. And that's this one here. Now it's there. You can read it. Yeah, it's a separate. Let me remove that. It is a separate fee. It's not tithing. It is a membership fee. Now, I want you to think about what he's saying there, okay? He's saying 1 foot on the boat dock, and there's one that's driving around. The one that's got his foot on the boat dock is the one to where the purse is found. He's basically told us that Johnny Jacobs was involved, which explains why he was being threatened by John Paul. Which also explains why the flying monkeys are coming back out again. Because he sends them out to try to distract and obstruct truth. Well, let me tell you something. God is pissed. I know we have been saying this for a while, but the anger has been fueled by the way these people have tried to shut down the truth and have attacked the truth tellers. And, it's not going to be good. The reason why all of this is coming out, the reason why all of this is coming out is because when he strikes, it's going to be rough. It's going to be bad. He's safe. He's not in the area anymore. He's gone. But I'll tell you, you could tell he wasn't a Southerner. And he was cursing, okay? And he was angry. It's a boat dock where they have concerts on the water. No, I believe he's talking about the boat dock because of the commentary he's saying in the video. He had a lot of commentary, and I really believe that he's talking about the boat dock on Lumber River State Park because he talks about where the purse was found. And we only know about one purse being found, and that's Micah. So he makes it very clear. And then he says the house in Myrtle Beach. Well, let me see if we can go back again and just read it to you again. You know what? Let me get the TikTok one because I think it's clear. Because YouTube has to get in the way of everything. All right. It's been the ruin of plenty of families, and God knows she is one, because there is a house in Myrtle Beach, the home of the pyramid scheme. Now, I don't know what the pyramid scheme thing means, I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure what that means. He also says there's a house that's a pyramid scheme, and it's run by Judas Priest. Now, when I think of Judas Priest, I think of, unfortunately, the rock band that used to be out in the 80s. Again, it's been the ruin of plenty of county employees, and God knows I am one. Okay, so he worked for the county. The mother, she was a victim of grooming. Who's this mother he's talking? Is this John Paul's mother? Is this Micah's mother? I don't know. The father, he was a religious man, started the grooming at the age of 13. Who are we talking about? He says in the beginning of the video, read between the lines. Of course, his finger is up in the air. That's how angry he is. The only thing that a narcissist needs is an open blank checkbook. The only time he's satisfied is when he is effed up. That means drugs. Then he says Alex Murdaugh, he wiped out his entire family, started with his wife first. That one could have been prevented on day one if it wasn't for crooked politicians. When he sings it, it matches. There's one foot on the boat dock and the other one is driving around, going back to the boat dock to where that purse was found. Because there is a house in Myrtle Beach, the home of the pyramid scheme. It's been the ruin of plenty of families, and God knows she's one. Google church pyramid scheme. Well, what does it say? I don't know. I don't know if it's Logan's mother. Google church pyramid scheme. Okay, church pyramid scheme. Alrighty. A church pyramid scheme refers to fraudulent investment schemes that often target church congregations and are disguised as religious activities or financial opportunities. These schemes promise high returns on investments, but their primary focus is on recruiting new participants rather than providing legitimate products or services. The money generated from new members is used to pay returns to those who recruited them, creating a pyramid structure where the vast majority of participants at the bottom lose money when the scheme collapses. So there you go. Emphasis is always on recruitment, disguised as a religious activity, high returns, little product, bottom level loss. A scheme targeting Christian churches that solicited cash gifts and required participants to recruit new members. Wow. Gee whiz. I see RICO charges. Oh, man. It just gets deeper and deeper and deeper in the crap. Well, so there you go. Now, I would have very easily had played this man's video because it really was it was filled with vulgarities, but he was just chock full. And you could see the passion. You could see the anger. This was not a happy guy. Okay, somebody ticked him off. And I pray he did too. He did say in the video that he had, yes, I believe Johnny was in the boat, not fishing, but to stage the scene 100%. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And he says it. Looking up definition to Judas Priest. Yeah, great idea. That's a great idea. Let's do that. definition of okay, not see the band comes up. Okay. So, what does the phrase Judas Priest mean? Judas Priest is a mild exclamation used as a euphemism for Jesus Christ, often employed when expressing frustration or anger. It serves as a substitute for using the Lord's name in vain. No, I don't think that's what we're looking for. Well, what does it mean? Well, Judas. Well, if anybody, okay, here we got a dictionary one. This is Merriam-Webster. Let's see what they say. Absolutely nothing. Oh, wait. Nada enchilada. Euphemism for Jesus Christ. Yeah. Dictionary doc also. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. An exclamation of exacerbation and disgust. Well, if anybody can figure it out, let me know. Judas Priest meaning in the Bible. Yeah, it's just euphemism for Jesus Christ. Taking the Lord's name in vain, breaking the law. Yeah, Matthew. Used to love that song. Satanic priest, yeah. Well, Judas was the betrayer. That is true. That is very, very true. So, yeah, there you go. This was a guy who really, and I held on to this video for a couple of months. And it just, like I said, I was talking to somebody that was an insider and just needed confirmation on who this guy was. And now I know he was a member at one time. Must have been, it sounds as if after Micah and what had happened to Micah. No, Veronica, it's just a video I've had for a while. And there's a new Fitz News article that I went over. I didn't want to put his face out there because I wanted to protect who he was, but it sounds as if he got burned, was not happy about what was going on, and then when Micah passed, he just lost it. And he really lost it on that video. Oh, it was late 2024. It was right around November. So it was right after the raid because he was talking about voting. So it was around when everybody was voting for the election. And he was even kind of biatching about that as well. But I don't want to give any more away about him because I just want to make sure he's okay. I don't think he's in South Carolina anymore. And I think he's going to be fine. I would actually be very sorry for anybody that comes up against him. That's how angry he was by what he had either experienced or seen. But he's given away quite a bit, I think, here. The mother being groomed. Now, how old was John Paul's mother when she met his dad? And I'm just guessing it's John Paul's mother. I don't know whose mother he's talking about here. It could be Micah's mother. I don't know. I don't remember her saying she was 13 when she got married. So I don't know whose mom he's talking about. Is it Murdoch's mom? I mean, I don't know. When the Murdochs met, was Mrs. Murdoch 13? Allison? Maybe Allison. Mother of the church, Micah. Well, very good, Elizabeth. Very good. Is the one that is talking about, in your opinion, you think it's JP's mom? Well, we got a lot of different people, a lot of different views of who it is. But he's definitely given us The part that really gets me is the foot on the boat dock and one is driving around. That's enough for me. That's just enough for me. And I probably would have taken any story that was referring to a boat dock when he brings up the purse being found. That was it, brother. That was it. And boy, oh boy, does he go at it at the end. I should get the words. He says something about, F you and your Oompa Loompa sidekick, stalking MF. I mean, he just goes at it. And I'm not sure who this Oompa Loompa is he's talking about. He just goes off and is, screw you, and I'm going to tell the feds, and da da da. Oh, just wow. So he was angry. He was very angry. JP Diddy. Maybe just Robin, maybe, is a very good point. He was definitely angry. I'd love to show it, but what I could do is I could, it's funny. I thought of Trisha. I thought of Trisha. I could just write down his rantings. We could break it down. No, it's not the bodyguard. No, it's not anybody we've ever seen or has been around or has been involved. This was somebody that I never saw before. And like I said, he came into my chat and he just went like absolutely apeshit, excuse my language. It was a long, big, massive, as you could see from the words here, it was just a rant. And of course, naturally caught my eye. Forgive me for having to say all these curse words, but it was just kind of a cursy day. And Randall is 4'11"? Get out of here. Is he really that short? Wow. He was letting it out like you would not believe. And so this sounded like somebody in pain. That's why I went looking for him. And something said to me, I watched the video and I was in shock. And it was like God said, you better download that video and do it now. So I downloaded it. And then I reached out to him and said, hey, can we talk? And he was gone. The video was gone. He was gone. And I was like, okay, I guess he doesn't want to talk. And I understand. I get it. Let me see that. There was a very interesting email. Michael Honeycutt wrote to JP in an email. JLR read it last year. Please read it if you have not. Allie, is there any way you can find that for me? Would you mind? Because I don't remember that at all. And I'd love to see that. Are you guys telling me that Randall is there's no way he's that short? No. He's just a little guy? Did she? He was fun-sized? He's a little dude. Aw. Well, being 5'1", who am I to talk? But I'm a woman. So it's kind of normal for me to be short. Although I would not mind being 5'6". I could tell you that right now. I would not mind it. I've prayed for it a few times. God just doesn't seem to want to give in. What's the big deal if he gives me a couple of inches, right? Longer legs, longer body. It would work out for me, But all right, he wants me short. Oh, yeah, you used to be? No, I don't think he's innocent. I don't think he's an innocent man at all. I really kind of questioned whether I was going to share this video or not. And then the way things have been going, I'll tell you what. If True Crime Marie hadn't shown up in my chat, I probably wouldn't have. But because she did, she ticked me off. And I'm at the point where I'm sick and tired of these people. I'm done. I've got one idiot who keeps, and forgive me, Lord, if that's mocking, okay? I've got one clueless wonder who keeps making these horrible, they take your photo and they take your face out and they put the face of, oh, sorry guys, they take the face of an angry person or confused person or stuff all over the face. It's like, grow up, man. Just grow up. If you've got nothing else to do, get a hobby. And the 2 pictures they did of me, that was taken down. Thank you, TikTok. Finally, you have some class. If they would have left me alone, I probably wouldn't have said anything. But then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let it all hang out. Now, of course, I would never, ever put anybody in danger. And I'm not going to put this guy in danger either. Because, like I said, I don't think he's still in the state. But I don't need him to be harassed on social media and whatnot, because we know that's what the FMs do. But I did want to put his words out there because I felt like his words were very important. If Chris quit breathing before going into the water, he would not have inhaled water in his lungs. Well, that's true. We have no idea if he did or didn't. According to Fitz News, or, I'm not going to blame Fitz News. It's very possible that this came from the police, and I haven't really looked through the police report, but I'm going to give you guys the Fitz News link so that you can get it yourselves and look it over. So maybe it's coming from there, but they said that he came out of the water alive, meaning his heart's still beating. How is that possible after an hour? Please, someone tell me, unless he's a shark. How is that possible? Now, was his head above the water the entire time? Because if that's the case, wouldn't he be conscious? I mean, what was they, born under a rock? I just don't see this happen. So again, we got the conflicting stories. Take the friggin' black box off his head and show us what you guys are seeing. If there's anything more to see. Otherwise, stop saying stuff like that. Of course, yeah, sounded like he wants to live. Absolutely, I agree. Yeah. I don't know anything about there being, I did not see any oxygen tanks on that chair. If I'm not mistaken, he was a diver at one time, or he was a swimmer or a surfer, but that's been a long time. It's not possible, Krista. It's not possible at all. Not for an hour. Somebody who's is in good shape, does a lot of swimming, is underwater a lot like a diver. Maybe they can do 15 minutes. Maybe. I don't know how they can go a lot longer than the average bear. But you're talking about a man who for 20 years has been in that chair. So if his hands and his legs are atrophied, don't you think his lungs are compromised as well? You think his lungs are going to be able to do that for an hour? That would be a miracle. Now, if they took him out of the water and resuscitated him, okay, then I could see that. Well, at one point, you do see video where it shows the top of the chair. So let's go. Let's go. Let me see. Let me get back real quick just because of that question. And let me bring this back because I think it's important for that question. Okay, here we go. So the weight, 485 pounds, width, length, height. Okay, so 57 inches is the overall height. So what is that? Is that like 5'6"? What's 57 inches, guys? Because the top of the chair, the black part of the top of the chair behind him, you can see it very little bit of it. So 56 inches in feet is 4 feet 8 inches. So it was probably like a 5-foot area of a pool, 4.7 feet, right? Yeah. Uh, um, you know, Matthew, I don't think he was an, you know, I think he was an intelligent man enough to know that that was not going to work with a 500-pound chair and him strapped to it. You know what I mean? Okay, with no equipment, a human cannot survive more than a few minutes with no oxygen, according to National Geographic. Okay, we actually need something more. If you can find something a little more medically supported. So let's see if we can find something with medical support behind it. How long can someone survive underwater? Underwater. Online CPR certification.com says, what? Really? Okay. The body's response to drowning begins when the brain senses hypoxia, oxygen deprivation. This causes the nervous system to trigger a series of reactions meant to protect vital organs, the heart and lungs, from damage until the victim is removed from the water and resuscitation efforts begin. A person can survive for hours or even days after being immersed in water and still be alive, depending on how deep the water was, how long the person was underwater, and other factors. However, there is a consensus that someone can die from drowning within minutes of submerging. I believe they're unlikely to survive within an hour, and within 12 hours, they will almost certainly die from their injuries. We really need some medical stuff going on. How long can the human body stay submerged underwater? Wikipedia. Who the hell are they? Okay. How long is it safe to stay underwater? This is according to the National Library of Medicine. A diver at 15 feet of salt water typically can stay indefinitely with almost no chance of decompression sickness, while the diver at 60 feet can only remain for about an hour before needing to stop and decompress prior to direct return to the surface. And that's a diver. Thank you, National Library of Medicine. That's not what we asked you. How long can humans survive underwater? Now I see where she got the Guinness World Records breath underwater for 24 minutes and 3 seconds. Somebody has done. So, like I said, yeah, I could see somebody that really, if you could pull a med journal, Krista, that would be great, because that's what I prefer. Now, I guess somebody who's got the ability, like a diver, who's trained, can do about 24 minutes, it says there. I think what they were looking for was one of those chairs, Just Robin. A friend of mine had that for her father in their pool, and it's a chair that they can be placed in, and it's a lift, and it can actually, just go down into the water. It's a mechanism that brings them so they're able to be in the water and enjoy the water. They don't swim or anything. They just enjoy the coolness of being in the water. And I think that's what they were fighting for, a chair for people who are paralyzed or unable to swim. So yeah, there you go. So let's just say 20 minutes for somebody who's in really good shape, somebody who's got the ability to hold their breath from training and diving and whatnot. But Chris, it's absolutely not. An hour is just not going to happen. Is there anyone that has unredacted? I know someone that wants to enhance it to see more details. So, you know what? Thank you for bringing that up. Wow, thank you so much. We do have BoobTube TV. So, let me get that for you guys. They put it up yesterday and they told me about it. Here they are. I guess they're shorts? No, they're videos. Huh. Oh, they must have emailed it to me. Darn it. How do I get it here? They enhanced the video. That's what you're talking about. Yeah, it doesn't look like they put it up, but they did make me one. Let me see if I can get it for you guys. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to, if Proton Mail is going to let me in here. It's going to be a miracle. Oh, dagnabbit. All right, I would have to get it. Who? BoobTube? Don't mention Anne. Who are we talking about? BoobTube TV? No, they're hidden. They pretty much did. They pretty much took my husband's video and enhanced it. You basically see the same thing, to be honest with you. You see that left wheel slightly going back. He goes forward a little bit. The left wheel only goes back a little and then goes forward. Absolutely, Veronica. I will not give away anybody's identity. I just won't. And like I said, I sat on this video for a couple months. Obviously, I mean, I've had it since November, a couple months longer, and I was just not going to put him out there. So I was like, how do I do this? Well, so what I did was, I played less than 5 to 10 minutes of submersion for death and ability. Okay. So there's an hour is impossible. An hour is impossible. Yeah. Right. Thank you, Krista. So yeah, an hour is impossible. So I have a feeling he was just resuscitated. It's very possible Fitz News is getting this from the police report, and the police document things like my grandson in kindergarten could do a better job. Submersion, yes, that's okay. Submersion, right. So thank you for that, Krista. Longest ever 27 minutes. Wow. Right. I am going to have, what are they hiding? I have to agree. Like, why? So regarding Chris, why put the video out at all? Why put the video out? Because his face is going to show us if he was determined and he was the one who did this, or he's screaming and going, oh my God, what's happening? As somebody had said in the chat a couple days ago, is there any audio? That would be interesting, So an audio, which would we hear him, screaming, help, help? I mean, I don't know. And you just look at all the factors around it. Her stopping from caring for him the way she normally did, the waving of the arm the way she did, supposedly no audio. Okay, yeah, how convenient. But again, all we need is his facial expressions. And I also question what was the movement of the chair like to get him to that point? You know, uh, and if we see his face, we'd be able to tell. We would be able to tell if he's going, "What the hell? Who is controlling my chair?" Why do that if you intended to do it to yourself? Exactly right. Well, where did they see this? When he goes into the water for us, it's just black over him. So where did they see him coming up for air? If the police are the ones who put this black box, why would Fitz News or Robbie Harvey have it without? So once again, remote control. I agree, remote control. Once again, we're getting conflicting stories. Why would the police give, mainstream media like Daily Mail a black box over his head, but Robbie Harvey has the one without? I mean, does that make sense to you? Yes, make and model is actually mentioned in the, let me see if I can get that for you. It's called the track fab factor, and it's in the article from Fitz News. I'm going to put that in the chat. Let me see. I might even be able to do that right now. Hold on, guys. Let's see if I'm really that good at what I'm doing here. Oh, there you go. I don't know if you can grab that. Tell me if it's a link for you, because I don't see it. Are you able to grab that, or do you need me to put it in the chat? Because it doesn't look like a link to me. Let me see. Oh, there it is. It's a link. Okay. It's a link. Okay. Very good. There was something else I was going to put in here for you guys. What was it? You guys remember? Oh, I was going to make a video. Wasn't there a video I was going to make of all of the, remind me, guys, I was going to make a video and I was going to put it up. All of a sudden, now I forgot. You got it? Okay. Okay. Very good. Oh, of the article about the wheelchair. I was going to take the text from it and make a video for you guys. So yeah, I'll do that too. Okay, so there you go. There's the article. There's links within the article that'll give you the police report. It'll give you information about the chair. It'll give you Allison Williams' affidavit if you want to see it. The 911 call for Chris Skinner is in there. Fitz News did a great job covering this. And then again, I will put in Forbes article titled, "This Guy Let Me Control His Hacked Wheelchair with an Xbox Gamepad." Okay. And I will, if I don't see you tomorrow, I will see you on Sunday. I'm going to come on at about 12:45. Forgive me, 2:45 p.m. just so we could all gather here before 3. I'd like to do the moment of silence for Micah at 3 p.m. because we really don't know when we lost her. We could do 1:30, we could do 1:45, which is where we think we lost her. But just for, argument's sake, we'll make it at 3 p.m. So I will go live at 2:45 so you guys can all gather here, and then we will have a moment of silence at 3 p.m. and then we could chat for a little bit, and hopefully we will have news of justice on that day. That would be great. If that does not happen, on that day, please do not get disappointed. It does not mean that nothing's going to happen. Okay? So just keep the faith. Keep the faith. Who is he supposed to meet? So remember the stories about meeting for chess. You know, Micah was supposed to meet with a demon to play chess, and Chris was supposed to meet somebody to play chess, and, you know, none of these people ever meet with anybody. So, you know, it's John Paul playing games, I think. But there you go. So thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for letting me, report on this real time with you. And if there's anything that you need or know of or can think of, please share. If I don't have, if nothing comes up between now and Sunday, I will see you on Sunday, 2:45 Eastern Standard Time, maybe with Tracy, who knows. But until then, please stay safe, guys. Have a great weekend, and God bless.